Imagine having $1 million in your bank account right now. You'd feel successful, right? You'd finally feel secure, confident, and free. But what if I told you that for most people, that feeling never actually comes? There are people with 7 figures in the bank who still wake up in a cold sweat, feeling like they're one mistake away from losing it all. And then there are people living on a modest salary who move through the world with the quiet confidence of a billionaire. The truth is, wealth isn't a number, it's a frequency. And if you aren't tuned into that frequency today, you won't be tuned into it when the money finally arrives. Most people are stuck in the when-then trap. When I have the money, then I'll be happy. When the business takes off, then I'll feel rich. But the universe doesn't work that way. Neuroscience shows us that you have to feel it first to attract it. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how to hack your brain's reticular activating system to feel wealthy before you even have the money, using 7 psychological shifts that will turn you into a magnet for financial abundance. Think about the last time you bought a specific car or even just a new pair of shoes. Suddenly, you started seeing that exact same car or those shoes everywhere, didn't you? That wasn't a coincidence, and it wasn't magic. That was your Reticular Activating System, or RAS, at work. Your RAS is a filter in your brain that decides what information is important enough to reach your conscious mind. Right now, there are thousands of opportunities around you, business ideas, investment gaps, influential people. But if your internal filter is set to broke or struggling, your brain literally deletes those opportunities before you even see them. It only looks for proof that supports your current identity. If you tell yourself you're behind or that money is hard to get, your brain will scan the world and find every piece of evidence to prove you right. To change your bank account, you have to change the filter. You have to start feeding your brain the data of a wealthy person so it starts noticing the path to wealth. The biggest mistake most people make is operating from a survival mindset while trying to reach a strategy mindset. When you're in survival mode, you're making decisions based on fear, lack, and short-term relief. You're hoarding every penny, working yourself to exhaustion, and viewing every expense as a threat. But wealthy people operate from strategy. They don't work harder, they work higher. They value their time more than their money. If you want to move from survival to strategy, you have to start practicing identity-based behavior. Stop asking, "What can I afford?" and start asking, "What would a person who makes $500,000 a year do in this situation?" That person wouldn't spend 4 hours trying to save $10. They would spend those 4 hours building a system, learning a high-value skill, or resting so they can perform at their peak. You can start making those high-level decisions today, regardless of your current balance. Let's get into the practical side of this, because feeling rich isn't just a vague emotion, it's built through tiny daily rituals. The first step is creating micro-luxury moments. We often think luxury is reserved for the ultra-wealthy, but true luxury is simply an elevated way of moving through life. It's the difference between drinking your morning coffee out of a chipped plastic cup while standing up versus pouring it into a heavy ceramic mug and sitting down for 5 minutes of silence. It's about playing sophisticated music while you work instead of having the news blaring in the background. These small rituals send a powerful signal to your subconscious mind. I am someone who deserves quality. I am someone who lives in abundance. When you stop treating yourself like a person who is struggling, you stop thinking like one. Next, you have to look at your environment. Your external world is a mirror of your internal state. You don't need a mansion to have a wealthy environment. A cluttered, dusty room creates a cluttered, anxious mind. Wealthy energy is clean, open, and intentional. Open your windows, let the light in, declutter your desk, and keep your space organized. When you walk into a room that feels intentional, you naturally feel more capable and professional. This self-image is the foundation of every financial decision you make. If you see yourself as someone who lives in chaos, you will manage your money with chaos. If you see yourself as someone who lives with order, you will manage your investments with order. Now, let's talk about the language of abundance. The words "I can't afford that" are a death sentence for wealthy energy. Every time you say those words, you are reinforcing a boundary of lack to your subconscious.
Wealthy people don't talk about what they can't do, they talk about what they choose to do. Instead of, I can't afford it, try, that isn't a priority for my capital right now, or I am choosing to allocate my resources elsewhere. This shifts you from a victim of your circumstances to a master of your finances. You aren't broke, you are currently in a season of aggressive building. You aren't struggling, you are managing your cash flow with precision. Language is the software your brain runs on. Make sure you're using the premium version. Another counterintuitive secret to feeling rich is generosity. It sounds strange to give away money when you feel like you don't have enough, but hoarding is the ultimate symptom of a poverty mindset. Hoarding says there is a finite amount of money and I might never get more. Generosity says there is plenty and more is on the way. You don't have to donate thousands. It can be a generous tip to a waiter who worked hard, or even just being generous with your time and energy. When you give, you prove to your brain that you have a surplus. That feeling of surplus is what allows you to take the calculated risks necessary to actually become wealthy. You cannot build a big life while holding on to a small spirit. You also need to stop the internal sabotage. Nothing kills wealthy energy faster than talking down to yourself. If you wouldn't say it to a business partner you respect, don't say it to yourself. When you make a mistake with an investment or overspend on a weekend, don't tell yourself, I'm so stupid with money. A grounded, successful version of you would say, that was a lesson. I'm refining my process and I'm getting better every day. Treat your financial journey like a professional apprenticeship. You're allowed to be a student, but you're not allowed to be your own worst enemy. Finally, you need to master the art of sensory visualization. Most people visualize in a way that feels far away, like a movie they're watching. To hack your brain, you need to bring the future into the present. Don't just think about a nice house. Close your eyes and feel the weight of the keys in your hand. Smell the scent of the candles you'd burn. Feel the texture of the sheets on the bed. When you engage your senses, your brain can't distinguish between a memory and a future vision. It starts to believe that this wealthy life is your current reality, and it will work overtime to close the gap between your physical world and your mental world. Here is your challenge. For the next 7 days, I want you to go on a wealthy identity fast. For 1 week, you are not allowed to say you're broke, you're not allowed to complain about prices, and you're not allowed to treat yourself like an afterthought. Act as if the money has already been deposited and you're just waiting for the bank to process the transaction. Ask yourself at every crossroads, what would the rich, grounded, secure version of me do right now? That version doesn't move with panic. They move with clarity. They don't hold on to doubt. They hold on to the vision. If you can sustain that feeling for 7 days, you will start to see the world differently. You'll see the deals you missed, the connections you ignored, and the path that was there all along. Stop chasing rich, become it today, and let the numbers catch up to you.